we greet our guests at the door. We give them the opportunity to find a spot where they feel most comfortable, and then we just cater to them. We walk them through our flight. Since we are such a tiny little producer, there aren't a whole lot of options just yet in terms of what the flight looks like. But we walk them through the flight. We also walk them through the story as we progress through the tasting. So it's not just this, here's our Eleanor.
Right.
There you go. And walk away. It's like, well, this is the story behind Eleanor, and each vintage is so vastly different. Mother Nature, as we all know, just doesn't replicate the same vintage twice. So, for us, we really allow her to decide what the percentages should be each year. And so no two vintages exactly the same for us in terms of percentage. So we kind of talk about the different soil types. We talk about the vast terrain between the 3 estate vineyards that we have. How Dennis founded this property in 2003 and planted Eleanor Vineyard in 2005 after converting it from a wheat field and letting the soil abate for a little bit of time. And, 2008 was our first vintage that was just super tiny, like really reserved for friends and family. I've been fortunate enough to taste a couple bottles over the last few years. So, it's just really remarkable to just see this story and the timeline and how patient you really have to be in the winemaking process, especially when you're doing estate fruit. You're at the mercy of how fast the grapes produce, and you can't really control that. So,
no. And then how fast they age and mature. Because the vines, that's why every vintage, especially when they're young, every vintage can be so different.
Yes.
As the grapes really establish themselves.
Yeah.
So, and then you're waiting to see too how it's going to age in the bottle, and you're just kind of at the beginning of that with the aging process on these wines.
Yeah.
These are going to be ageable wines. I think we had the 2017 Eleanor.
Yes.
And it's going to age beautifully. So
yeah, and
every year progressing and
that's
changing.
kind of the impetus behind some of the winemaking style is like they're designed to, one, showcase how well the fruit is, because we don't use a ton of oak. It's 30% on average new French oak, and then we use neutral after that. And we really just want to showcase how good the fruit is in the wine. It's sensational. So we just really design the wine to either drink now, drink in a few years, drink in 15 years, drink in 20 years, just to see how well it's come along. So
perfect.
Yeah.
There is more to see in Walla Walla. Stick with us on our next episode, where we visit Le Col number 41 and share a year's worth of pairings with their wines. We will learn more about wine pairing and a bit about wine blending. We've also added some extras on Caprio Cellars on our YouTube channel, so check those out. Thanks for joining us on The Scenic Route.